welcome to the Old Man Orange Podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Dunigan.
And we're here back with, finding more scripts from the past and seeing what would be kind of fun and interesting to kind of, dive into and see what these stories might be, and, taking it with this is the Spider-Man one that's, supposedly the James Cameron one that he would have done in 1993 era. You know what I mean? Like that kind of time period. And it's just an interesting one. I just want to say, it's like, before we go into all that stuff, it's that kind of interesting thing, because you think about, like, Batman comes out in 89, and then it's like, oh, okay, it's huge. And then you'd think there'd be this flood of, like, all kinds of other, like, kind of comic book movies, and there is, but they're just not superhero ones. It's like they start pulling all the independent stuff and the old things, and it's like, oh, okay, so instead we're doing, like, the Phantom, and we're doing, like, Tank Girl, and we're doing Spawn, and we got all these other stuff, and beyond that, it's like, you got Captain America and, like, the Punisher movie and the Fantastic Four, what's his name's one, the 94 one, but it's kind of...
Roger Corman.
Yeah, the Roger Corman one. It's kind of weird how, like, it's not the same as, like, when you get to, like, 2000 and X-Men comes out, and then from there you get the whole wave, and, what's the next big one to come out? Spider-Man!
Yeah, you think that would have come out way sooner, and apparently even before the big, I guess they probably overheard, like, I guess Warner Brothers is doing a Batman movie, maybe we should do a Spider-Man movie, and Spider-Man rights
we'll do a Punisher movie instead, because I think that movie's 89.
Well, a bunch of, because I want to do a little bit of clarification, because I overheard, okay, this is what this James Cameron Spider-Man movie was going to be. You hear that, and then I hear another thing. I'm like, wait, this version says it was Dr. Octavius. This version over here says it was the Sandman in Shocker. Or not Shocker, Electro. And from there, I'm like, all right, what is it? So when we decided to do this, like, all right, let's do this, the James Cameron Spider-Man script, because I was curious about this. And the one I was reading, it was like, okay, second revision. I didn't realize there's a third revision. So maybe the third version's better than the one we got, the one we're doing for this episode. But as it turns out that I actually found this out through, I want to give this channel a shout out because they helped clarify some things for me. Super Void Cinema. And they do some videos on things such as, like, movies that didn't get made. And it's funny you bring up that how many big characters never got made. I guess at the time he wasn't big, but apparently they were trying to make an Iron Man movie since 1991. They apparently were trying to make the Spider-Man movie as far back as, like, the late 80s. Mm-hmm. And there's this crazy back and forth. Spider-Man was jumping around from studio to studio because they couldn't land on something before the rights expired. This guy thought they owned it. What was that? Canon Pictures or something? There's those two, like, Israeli guys who they were known. They made, like, I forgot. They kind of made, like, a lot of, like, exploitive movies, and their movies are often regarded, like, I forget their names, but, like, do you remember when I'm talking about? Canon Pictures or something? They do, like, A Last American Virgin or something like that?
Well, they did a bunch of, like, those kind of, like, 80s and so on movies. Is it canon or is it? It's not like.
I think they even did Superman 4. Like, that was like, here's our chance to go into the big leagues. We got Superman 4. We're gonna do it at a small budget, and it just kind of, like, blew up in their face.
Yeah, so it's just that kind of stuff.
Those guys at some. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, you continue on.
Well, those guys at some point had an idea for a script, and like, all right, well, what if Spider-Man? We never read Spider-Man. We don't give a fuck what Spider-Man is. What if he's a ninja who takes some serum and he becomes, like, a werewolf, like, spider thing? And then, that script bounced around, and some guys who actually read the comic, which is what we got here in this script, they wrote something, and that bounced around. So this thing just kept on bouncing around between different studios, and the back and forth, I was having trouble keeping up with it in the fucking video. I was like, all right, this clarifies a lot, but in some ways it also makes it a little bit more confusing. I'm not even going to go into it. This guy got it, but then they sued this guy for that, but they sued them over there. Then Marvel sued these guys because, but whatever. And at the end of the day, it went over, James Cameron had an idea, and I want to say he was really pushing for it to get made, and he was pushing for Fox, but Fox did not want to throw down the money for what he had. At the time, he's like, okay, all right, I'm involved in this. We'll just throw my name on this draft of the script, and then we'll move forward. I'm going to work on my own draft, and then we're going to come back to this thing, and we're gonna rework it from scratch, and I'm going to, have 20th Century Fox backing me up. But 20th Century Fox didn't want to throw down the money for it. So he's like, well, you guys just totally fucked this up. This could have been something awesome. And hearing what his movie would have been sounds like it would have. We'll go into that at the end, because moving forward from this, now I'm not gonna lie. I'm not trying to be a dick, but I'll just say it. I didn't like the scripts, and I know it's the very first cinematic version of Spider-Man, and it's maybe easy to kind of look back and shit on this when a bunch of other movies have come out and got it right. But I just didn't really care for this script. It just, if you've seen Spider-Man movies by this point, this just seems kind of like a step back. But to be fair, this is when they're still figuring all this out.
And to be fair, it literally is a step back from the Spider-Man movies. Because, I mean, it's 1993. Like, it's one of those films that, like, maybe if it would have came out and it was on the screen in the script's 93, so let's just assume this movie's like a 94, 95 movie. It's one of those ones, like, if it would have came out around then, like, it would have came out, let's say, this like the same time as Batman Forever, it maybe would have been, like, at that time period, I think you would have been like, oh, you know what, this is kind of cool. But it's just one of those ones, like, it's just so, like, kind of simple and kind of plain that, like, you know what I mean? It makes, like, you start looking at them and you're like, fucking Elektra looks pretty fucking good right now. You know what I mean? You're like, shit, Elektra had a lot going on. Man, has one of the most amazing special features I've ever seen, but shit, even the movie itself. But, like, that's
let's put on Fantastic Four 2, Rise of the Silver Surfer.
Yeah, with Venom, top it off. But,
God, Venom, I don't even like Venom, but Venom, yeah, that came out better than this. But to be fair, Venom has less of an excuse, because Venom had a lot more to work with over all these years.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Is this movie probably, as I said, if it would have came out in 1995, it might have been cool enough for the time period. You know what I mean? If it was just kind of the first one. I think this is the downfall, is after you sort of have the Sam Raimi ones, because that's what this sort of feels like. It feels like you get a halfway in-between version of Spider-Man 1 and 2. That's how it kind of comes across to me. But, like, not as good. To
be fair, and we'll go into more of the reasons why later, I can't help but wonder if, because this whole thing has the thing about dimensions merging. Part of me kind of wonders, it could be totally coincidental, because that's a very comic booky thing, and that kind of shit happens in comics all the time. But there's that whole point in, like, Into the Spider-Verse, when just random things start appearing in Miles Morales' universe. Just weird, like, oh, this building's in here at a weird cockeyed angle, or this moved here for some reason. So I'm wondering if that is in some ways like, you know what, let's nod this script that only probably some people really know about, but be fun, or it could just be a total coincidence.
No, you never know, because, once they kind of do that kind of stuff, you could be stacking all these kind of neat older stories together, and just, why not? But yeah, I guess going into this script, it starts off, you got fucking Doc Ock just there, like, sitting at a computer desk, and his, like, co-host here, fucking Wiener,
which, here's the thing. I mean, that joke's already there, but, alright, real talk. It's Spider-Man, and I don't want to diminish it, but kids are gonna see it. Kids are gonna see Spider-Man. And what's the name you land on Doc Ock's, like, right-hand man?
Wiener. And they probably would pronounce it maybe like Wiener or something, like that. But, when I'm reading it, all I see is Wiener. And he gets the first fucking line of the movie, like, whoa, 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 what's that? Starts right off.
Doc's sourcing, okie dokie, let's do this.
Yeah, and for some reason, Doc's, like, catchphrase is okie dokie. Like, like, wait, okie dokie. And he says
maybe that was something in the, like, 70s comics that we didn't, like, get by, that we didn't make it all the way to the 90s. Because I'll be honest, a lot of Marvel stuff, I kind of read, like, 80s on. I don't really go that far back on a lot of Marvel.
Yeah, it's like, there's a couple Spider-Man ones I've read from the 70s
so for all we know, that okie dokie was his phrase back in, like, 65 or whatever.
Yeah, because, that's the thing, is that you look at this one, and it's kind of like, that's probably what they're writing. These writers, we'll give credit where credit is. It's like, here's the 4 writers that aren't James Cameron: Barry Cohen, Ted Newson, Joseph Goldmari, and then John Bracanto, or whatever. So these guys are probably all from like the 60s, and that's probably what they're writing on. It's kind of the same thing with Batman. It's almost like, you know, when you look at Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, it's one of those ones like, it's really easy for people to kind of go like, oh, these movies are stupid, but it's like, you think about it, like, these guys are going like, well, I'm just making a 90s version of the Batman I love from the 60s. And
yeah, and it like Batman and Robin and Batman Forever aren't my favorites, but at the same time, I recognize what they're trying to do in hindsight. So it's like, okay, there's doing Adam West. Adam West is part of Batman history.
You know, it's just like if we probably put together a Batman movie and we were doing Batman from the 90s, there'd be some kid be like, oh, fucking 90s Batman? So fucking stupid, like, fucking Jim Lee bullshit. You know, there'd be that kid in the fucking audience.
Jeff Loeb, Tim Sale shit.
Fucking old people shit, you know what I mean? Like, fucking when Batman was just all, like, dark and, like, thinks he's fucking cool and shit and has, like, boots on that are too well detailed. I hate this Batman.
I have a YouTube channel focused on criticism.
It's like, yeah, can't it just be like a Batman that's kind of like, you know, CG looking like Pixar? That'd be like what the new thing should be.
I'll be honest, I don't want to get too much of another tangent, but I notice I'm becoming a little bit more ageist. Like, someone could be younger than me and have an opinion, that's totally fine, but
if they're at a certain age, their opinion doesn't matter.
I don't know. Well, here's the thing. If I'm like, there's that period where you'd be watching, you know, when we were younger, because there's that period where video essays weren't all that common, and then there's that whole thing like, oh wow, someone made an in-depth video essay on something I like, whether it be a movie, a video game, or a comic, and then it was, chances are by that point it was someone your age or older than you. Then once you kind of get to like 30 and this, you know, editing software and computers are way more readily available than we were kids. You listen to like some like 18-year-old go like, and this is why Civil War is not nearly as good as everybody says it is. I'm like, done, block. I can't listen to this horse shit.
Yeah. Be like, Google, never show this again to me. Don't you ever dare show this to me. That's what I tell it. Literally on YouTube, I say, if there's something I don't like, I go, don't you dare show this to me again. Just take this out of existence. This is not what I want to see. If there's not people throwing punches or, you know, having a good time, I don't care. You know, that's
punches or having a good time. That's all I want. Someone getting brought up or punched.
But
yeah, no. So now whenever I see like whenever I hear like a video, like you can just tell by their voice that they're like somewhere in their late teens or early 20s. I'm like, yeah, dude. I like somebody's like, all right, he's talking about like really trying to do a deep dive into the Sam Raimi movies, and there's some things that kind of got what he was saying, but there's some things like, dude, you just, not to sound like an old man, you had to be there. Don't question these things. You were. He's like, I was one when this movie first came out. Like, done. Don't need to hear from you. I actually was there opening day. I was, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. That was a magical moment for us as kids. Damn it! Don't you dare take that away.
That was our generation's Christopher Reeve's Superman. For Sam Raimi Spider-Man. You could look at it now and say it's cheesy and this and that, but I still love that movie.
You went to like an 8th grade prom at that time period, and you've pretty much, you got the Chad Kroeger song playing. That was the special song of the night, damn it, because it was Spider-Man song. It was almost like it crossed lines, because there was that moment where it's like, oh, look, there's all the popular girls dancing, and then you could be like, it's a Spider-Man song.
I can do this. If a hero can save us, that's right, Chad Kroeger.
Good old. That's what Chad Kroeger was doing. He was like, you know, I'm gonna get these nerds fucking laid tonight, just like a Nickelback song. Because here's the thing, the girls are gonna be like, oh, it's Chad. Look at Chad. He's up there singing. And be like, yeah, that's me. Oh yeah, it's also that other guy from what's that band?
Saliva.
Yeah, Saliva.
That's
that's him. He's just there for the chorus, but that's okay. Chad's here. So, you know, but here's the thing. Once these nerds kind of get in right there to be like, by the way, this is a Spider-Man song. 2 years ago, you probably would have pushed me away, throw water on me.
You wouldn't be dry humping to this shit.
But now Chad's here. Chad's here to bring us together.
Now quickly, grind together before the yard duty sees.
And there's that one kid who's like, well, actually, the song's a 9/11 song. Shut the fuck up, Billy.
Might as well be a 9/11 song. I think that movie was totally like, you know what? 9/11 just happened. Here you go, America. Spider-Man. We need something to lift our spirits.
So the movie's all like, see, Spider-Man wasn't Spider-Man yet. He was still in school. He didn't get bitten yet. But if he was bitten 2 years earlier, a hero could have saved us.
Yeah.
I'm not going to look away. But, okay, going back to Wiener here. Fucking Wiener.
So, yeah, the actual
Doc
script.
Ock's sitting there. He's like, I'm doing a fucking experiment. And it like describes it as like he's playing it like fucking Fan of the Opera, like pushing buttons. And it's like the interesting thing I will say about this one, I do like how it's like they're already in college. I will say I think that's kind of cool. Instead of being like a high school one, I mean, like, granted, I know that's kind of like, people are like, well, Spider-Man's the high school character. That's who he is. He's pigeonholed as that nowadays. But it's like, I've always thought that, like, I always like Spider-Man so much more when he's in college. I guess maybe that comes from just, like, the 90s cartoon show and so on. So I will give it more credit for being, like, they're already in college, though Flash still acts like he's fucking 16.
Yeah. Well, I think the reason why they've kind of pigeonholed him to high school is because, all right, well, let's have diversity among, like, the MCU. But then I think they're also moving forward, like, all right, well, longtime Spider-Man fans, they probably want to see Peter excel, but you know what? We could have Miles have the high school experiences and all that kind of stuff. So I think that's kind of what they're going at now. But yeah, it was kind of somewhat of a. I guess at the time it would have been like, oh, this is what we're used to seeing. Him starting off maybe in high school, but then going to college or being in college. But more, it's probably more of a, like maybe 2000. It's been like very much high school oriented.
Yeah, exactly. Because he
was
with
Ultimate Spider-Man.
Because you think about it, I guess from like the 70s on, he's been like in college or older like ever since then. It was only kind of like, yeah, when Ultimate Spider-Man kind of came, kind of put him back to being like always sort of a kid. And it's like, granted, there's a time and place, and I get it for like the MCU. It's because everybody else is fucking old. So they're like, shit, we need some youth around here. Just a bunch of fucking gray dicks walking around. Just,
so for
you know, it's like, oh, I gotta lighten this up a bit.
Need some pre-pubes.
So, fucking Peter stand there. They got Liz Allen, which is kind of just interesting because it's just like, oh, that's different, you know. It's kind of
you always expect an MJ or Gwen Stacy.
You know, it's probably like the least interesting Spider-Man kind of girlfriend character, but whatever. You know what I mean?
There.
She's there, and of course Flash is there. Somehow Flash, he just keeps getting fucking scholarships somehow, some way to keep going. Like, I do not think it's his grades that have gotten this far into, like, university.
No, he's just good at catching a football.
Yeah, he just catches a football, and the money comes into his hands each time. and then they got Harry.
So moving forward,
and they make Harry almost out like even like kind of like, because mostly Harry always felt like, I'm the rich kid who, you know, is, you know, I'm smart and everything, but I'm kind of like a little bit more wealthy. Whereas here he's just like, I'm a fucking nerd. Whoa, I'm even stupider than Peter. Just like tripping over his own dick, like showing up here and so on. It's just like, oh, okay. I guess it's like they're like, well, we don't want to make Peter too fucking nerdy because we won't. When he turns into Spider-Man, we want to make it believable. So we'll have Harry come in here and be the kind of the idiot.
And like, why is he like? Yeah, I'm having trouble believing this guy. If this one would have got a sequel, having this guy be this second Green Goblin down the line, like, oh, Spider-Man will pay for what he did to my dad. Like, oh, I'm sure he will, Harry. Here, just here's a sippy cup. Try not to spill it on yourself.
Yeah, exactly, and so on. So they're just standing out here. Everybody's fucking. These are kind of our main characters, and they're just all watching pretty much Doc Ock do a fucking experiment. Like, look at me, I'm so fucking awesome. Blah 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 blah.
I'm gonna take all the power away from the whole school, and then like, you know, one of the I think the principal or something, or maybe another professor walks in like, what are you doing? Like, I'm doing a fucking experiment. You could like blow up the whole school. Who gives a shit? It's fucking science.
That's what it is. He's really like full on like, don't you dare go against the power of science. Science is God and I am his, like, you know, pastor.
And I am his pimp.
Yeah.
And science is my dirty whore.
Look at, even that Flash kid's even paying attention, and he hates science.
You want to see some shit blow up, Flash? Don't answer the question. I already know.
So they just go on through this for like, they go on this for like a good while. This science experiment, it must be the very interesting, like, hey, it's James Cameron. Let's show some special effects off in 1995 scene in the movie.
Well, this must have been like, because they kind of go into like, he's explaining essentially hey, look, here's some hologram shit. No, technology's not there yet, but don't question it. Some hologram shit that's going to pop up, I guess, and we're going to merge worlds, thus creating a new one, destroying everything in this. Isn't that cool, kids? What? Yeah. Anyway, and then, like, class is over. So, and, like, Peter, like, had, like, and the guy's very, like, here's the thing. I like, I like most of the Spider-Man movies. But something they always do is, with the exception of Far From Home, they always try to make every villain sympathetic. And that doesn't need to happen. Not every villain has to be sympathetic. And Far From Home, Mysterio wasn't a sympathetic character, but he wasn't two-dimensional. You could see he kind of liked Peter. You see he didn't want to kill Peter, but he's like, well, you know, is this job I've been pulling for the last couple years, or like letting this kid like give way and rat it all out. So yeah, if I have to kill a kid, I have to kill a kid. I don't want to, but I'm gonna have to. So I think that makes, you know, so that was like the one time they didn't make a really sympathetic villain. This is the other one, but I think that in all honesty, I probably would have taken a sympathetic version of Doc Ock than this version, just because it's just so like mad scientists and evil, and there's like really nothing to him really, and I don't need him to be a sympathetic character, but just something more fun. Maybe a really good actor could have pulled it off.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I mean, like, I always personally, like, I love, like, when villains used to be just villains. Like, there's something to be said, like, when evil is pure evil, you know? Like, I always feel like 70s villains, you get that in there where it's just, like, they don't give you a reason. They just do these, like, terrible things and so on. Because, like, I don't know what it is. Ever since, like, the 2000s, that's always how it is. Like, they always got to make you be like, what? This is why he does it. He doesn't think he's really a villain, that he's not that great of a villain then. Somebody who's just pure evil just, like, goes the full distance and doesn't question it. You know what I mean? Like,
well, I think there's a couple examples of, like, you know, someone who is just evil, but it works because of the way they portray it. Like, Heath Ledger's Joker. That's someone who's pure fucking evil, but he's fun to watch. You don't agree with most people. I don't think most people would agree with what he has to say, but his whole thing, he wants to point out the hypocrisy in the world and politics and all that, and he just goes to the extremes of it. And he's not meant to be a likable guy. He's meant to be a bad guy, and he's supposed to be kind of full of shit himself, really, when you kind of look at it, but just because the way he played it, he was a very fun character, and he was blatantly evil. Now, the way he's written, I don't know, I think a good actor could probably pull it off, but the way he's written, it's just very much of like, I want to destroy everything. Why? Because I can. I'm like, all right, well, you know, maybe another draft on that one, but, you know.
Yeah, exactly. So he's just got to go in there. So they just go through this big, fat, like, science experiment that goes on for, I feel like, the first, like, 10 minutes of the movie or something like that. It's like I was like, is it just me, or am I just streaming this slow, or is this really fucking dragging when I was first reading this? Yeah, that's one of those ones where it's like, it might be, like, you know, in a movie, it might be more interesting, but, like those kind of things, like, when I'm reading about a fucking machine shooting fucking, like, I don't know, electricity out and fucking making earthquakes and shit, it's like, that doesn't sound that interesting, especially when it takes up all those pages and so on. And, of course, Peter's trying to there, and, like, you know, Harry's like, Peter, there's Liz over there. Show him your dick. That's not gonna work, Harry. Oh, okay. You know, and then, like, Flash is like, yo, what's up?
I'll show her mine.
He's like, hey, check it out. Look down. Just, like, got my dick out. Turns around, slaps Peter in the face. Like, what's up, Parker? you two guys fucking yet? Yo, Liz.
He's just riding his motorcycle down the hallway with his dick out. Babe! Babe!
You know. And
he's driving off, flopping in the wind behind him.
So he's just there, and so it's got kind of like Peter's like, oh, I always wish I could talk to Liz, but I guess I can't. At least I'm not as fucking nerdy as Harry.
And then that's where also Ock kind of comes in. You find out Peter,
like,
through some exposition dialogue, he's like, oh yeah, I just wrote this one paper that might get published. I gave it to this scientist over here. And then Ock comes in, he's like, Peter, I heard you wrote a great paper that's going to totally help me get further with this experiment. I'd be honored if you help me out with it. I know I called you a fucking idiot at the beginning of the class, but, you know, it'll be, you know, I think it'd be good for you to come help me out with this thing. It's like, oh, gee, Professor, I really appreciate it, but I already kind of handed off to this other scientist over here. What? You know, and then from there it just goes like, oh no, I'm sorry, I just lost my shit for a minute. I don't mind these robot arms that I have bringing with me to class. Yeah, just, come by tonight at 8. Well, I actually got something going on. By tonight at 8, motherfucker.
Fucking 8.
Oh, okay,
We're gonna have
cool.
fucking dinner together. Don't you dare have fucking dinner with anybody else.
It's you, me, and Wiener.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like... Yeah, his name's
nothing
Wiener.
Weird about it. Nothing weird about it.
Stop fucking laughing, kid.
It's not it's fucking serious. It's science, all right?
Shit, my magnifying glass collects sunlight and focuses it to a hard beam I call, Wiener, where you at?
So then, from there, we suddenly jump over to Peter's apartment, and Aunt May and Uncle Ben are over, like, oh, what are you doing? Oh, hey, Aunt May, Uncle Ben, we're just kind of hanging out for a minute.
Well, I think it's like Aunt May's like, keeps showing up, like, so Aunt May, I can take care of myself. Well, Peter, doesn't look like you're doing a fucking good job of doing it. Yeah. I can't even cook in this house. Look at the cockroaches there. He's doing a disco dance on your floor. Yep. You're coming home, Peter. Oh, but yeah, it's like, no. It's Friday night. Do you have a date? No. That's what I fucking thought, Peter. You come on home.
Put on your collar.
And then,
I want you running off now.
And then like Uncle Ben he's just sitting on the couch like, Peter, you want another beer? Brewski. Oh, you don't? I used to like you a lot more when you liked baseball. Whatever happened fucking there? Oh, well, T-ball. Oh, yeah. You weren't a fucking Babe Ruth. We learned that right off the bat. Fucking slugs a beer, chucks the can at Peter's head.
Clearly, dodgeball wasn't your thing either.
And then like...
Only thing you know to dodge is woman. Am I right?
Right. Am I right, May? It's dinner time, everybody. Oh, you don't get a fucking joke. Don't you ever get fucking married, though, Peter. Let me fucking tell you that. The one thing I gotta tell you, don't you fucking get married. I mean,
It's fun at first, but these fucking bitches, man, I tell you.
Then when you want to go to fucking New Jersey on the weekend with the guys, there's only so many stories you could throw. Just saying.
Oh, you don't know how to do that, do you? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, Harry doesn't count as a guy, if that's what you're
maybe
wondering. There's a reason why I told you at 12 years old that don't invite Harry over anymore.
I don't give a shit his parents are loaded. Makes him soft. Clearly made you soft.
Fucking chucks another beer can at it.
Man's gotta get dirt under his nails. Man's gotta get dirt under his nails. Sounds like you're too busy pedicuring yours. Getting all fancy like. Something I want to let you know, Peter. I don't ever want you to see you swinging around in a brat suit. You hear me? I don't want you to be like one of them boys doing dances on the TV in a big, bright, colorful suit. You get where I'm coming from?
If I catch you... Yeah, if you look anything like that Cats commercial I saw, I'm gonna fucking kill you, Peter. I killed you not. I have a gun upstairs with your fucking name on it. That's okay. That gun will come around.
It was the one play I ever went to go see, and it was the last, because I walked out halfway through and I inglorious bastard that fucking thing. Just went in, locked the door, lit a fire. I heard nothing but meowing and screeching on the other side. Nothing. I wasn't that happy since Nam.
But here's the thing. That's the ending everybody wants. You know what I mean? I was just providing what we all really wanted.
The firefighters showed up and they just stepped there and watched. They just fist bumped. We got what was going on. Any other thing, like, well, we got the call when we saw where it was at. Like, oh, let's just let this one wait out. This is nature.
Yeah, they're like, if we let it burn, there'll be less paperwork.
Paperwork. That's something you could do, Peter. You know, you don't like going outside. You like books.
Yeah.
May! Beer!
Where's that fucking steak at? Could you just imagine if Uncle Ben, because Uncle Ben's always been played as like the nicest uncle you could possibly have, and it's always such a bummer like that, like when he gets laid off. You just imagine if he was just this like really shitty uncle, like almost kind of like the fucking Harry Potter uncle, and just like Peter's like, oh, I just can't wait to fucking move out of here. And then when he fucking dies, like, thank fucking Christ he died. Jesus. I thought I was going to have to live my whole life seeing him at family reunions.
Or just like, you know, like, you know, it's this Christmas, and like he get like for Christmas, you know, he's a full grown man by this point. He's like, opens up his gift. He's like, oh, a toy plane. Yeah, I thought it might remind you of your parents. He just drops it.
Just crashes it.
Just
Doesn't
like, oh,
break eye contact as he's doing that.
Just going down like, you know, sad thing. You're supposed to be on the plane that day, but apparently you were crying, you were sad, you want to go on a vacation. Didn't work out for either party, did it?
Yeah. Well, look at me. I had fucking dreams. Fucking dreams. Just goes back slowly to the TV and just turns the volume up in the baseball game.
He couldn't be on the fucking plane that day. Had to be dropped in my lap. Oh, god damn it. Missed the game that day, Peter. Just want to let you know. You were too busy crying because, oh, your mom and dad died in the plane. Fucking man. Yeah, well, guess what? My dreams died.
Yeah.
That's what fucking
you didn't
died
see me
for
fucking crying. Jesus fucking Christ, you got one fucking job in this house.
So, I will say that this version of the script, Uncle Ben is not, he's not a dick, but he's not as nice as he usually is.
Yeah, he seems like he would be kind of that guy who would be kind of like still slightly poking Peter and so on and whatnot. I know, you got a lot of people that are just kind of doing that in this, because you even got J. Jonah Jameson, of course, just being J. Jonah Jameson normally, just yelling and putting cigars out in Peter's photos and kicking him in the balls and pushing him down the stairs and all that stuff, and saying how much he hates fat women.
Yeah, but yeah, there's one quick exposition scene of him just being like, Peter, your pictures are horse shit. Okay, Mr. J. Jonah Jameson, that's all. And then later, Peter, of course, can't stay for dinner because he's got to go to dinner with Oct and Wiener.
Yeah, and then Oct's like, he's 5 fucking minutes late. Where is that kid? Oh, there he is. Oh, okay. Hey, Peter. Hey, how's it going? Come on in.
Okie dokie, right?
Come on in. You want something to eat? No. He's like, Wiener, go out and get something to eat. Don't you dare fucking steal anything. He's like, Peter, what do you want? He's like, oh, well, I just already had dinner with my Aunt May. He's like, get the fuck out of here, Wiener. Don't you dare fucking come back.
It was also, he started like, what was it? He started like, before it even came to that, he's just like, all right, so what'd you tell Rosimov or whatever the other professor was? He's like, oh, I'm not sure. Well, yeah, it was like a super Russian name, I think. He's like, well, I really can't say 50%, you motherfucker, 50%, you know? Oh, no, I'm actually reading a different part of the script. But yeah, no, he's doing another scientist experiment. It wasn't panning through. And Peter's like, I'm sorry, I can't help you. Well, get the fuck out then. Okay, bye, Professor. See you Monday. And then, he keeps on going through it without Peter, this experiment. And in that experiment, everything's colliding around him. And at this point, the arms, they keep on calling him, what do they call them? Like weavers or wallers or
it says like Waldos.
Waldos, that's what they call them.
Yeah, they even have to explain it to somebody, because somebody, I think it's like Liz even asked, like, what the fuck's that? It's like, it's a Waldo. She's like, that's a fucking weird name. He's like, fuck you, that's what they're called. You fucking dare question
those books.
Yeah.
Where's Waldo? I got 4 of them right here, bitch.
You should be asking, where's fucking Liz? Oh yeah, not in any fucking of these movies.
Yeah.
Don't you fucking question my arms. I'm the real fucking Spider here. Fuck that Spider-Man.
Oh, it was not my idea to go by Doc Oct. That was some bullshit. I don't even like octopuses. They creep me out.
But, can't remember, yeah, so it's like, they have the thing, Peter kind of leaves and so on, and then, can't remember, J. Jonah Jameson wants him to go get pictures of something or not. I mean, something good, of course, but I can't remember if there's something specific.
Because once, it was the situation, I think, with, because, originally the arm things were just these, it was like in the comic, it was something he wore. It was this thing he wore, But then he was playing around with this experiment again, and everything around it's fusing, because it all revolves around fusing. So they fuse to him, and then it's kind of like similar to the scene in Spider-Man 2, where they're trying to cut these arms off and we're trying to see what's going on, and then his arms go crazy and start attacking people right there in the hospital.
Yeah, that's right.
And I think that's where where J. Jonah Jameson sent him.
Is everybody's like, here, $50, boy, go inside, get some pictures. What's dangerous in there, Jay? Don't you fucking dare question that. That's $40 now. You said 100. I ain't giving you fucking 100. Not when you're looking at me like that. Get your ass in there.
You whine like a woman. Everyone tell you that, Peter?
You know, there was fucking... I got a university full of students that could have your job right behind me.
Who wants $100? All the hands go up. Take this Nokia.
And then there's also there's another scene too. Well, I think Peter goes in there, I guess, and just fucking takes pictures or whatever. And at this point, somehow, some way, he gets bit by a fucking spider when he's in there. Like when I was kind of reading, I was like, what the hell happens? It's like he's just like inside this building falling apart, and then like a spider kind of gets him. And it's like,
the spider somehow got into the machine and all this fusion reactor shit and bit. And then like Doc Ock even got bit by the spider, but it didn't have any effect on him. And then it bit Peter while this shit was going on. And then we go from there where he's all like, what happens from there? Isn't he just like...
Well, this is kind of the weird part is that like, because at first, like when I was reading the script, I was thinking like, oh, they're in high school. Maybe he's already Spider-Man, like just doing kind of like a Batman, 1989 kind of thing. Like he's already Batman. Don't fucking question it. And then it's like, oh, he gets bit in college. Oh, okay, sure. I guess. I mean, like, it works. I guess this was maybe you had to kind of Spider-Man. I guess you got to kind of explain that a little bit more probably to like the regular. It's I mean, like Batman. I think it's a little bit easier to be like, he's fucking rich. He bought this shit. You know what I mean? Where Spider-Man's like, well, if you didn't know, let's just say if you just didn't know the Spider-Man origin, it would be one of those ones where it's like, well, how is he doing all that kind of stuff? Radioactive spider.
Well, after that, he starts. I want to say there's this whole scene of him just
like running around,
not realizing how he has the powers or what's going on. Where he's jumping around, he's climbing on walls. Like, whoa, what? This is weird. And then there's this guy like, hey, kid, have you ever been in the moving pictures? I'll make it huge. Just out of nowhere.
He almost, you know what he reminded me of is he reminded me of in Taxi Driver. What's his name? Harvey
Keitel.
Harvey Keitel's character. Like, that's what it reminded me of. Because at first he's like, hey, kid. He's like, here's a card. It's like, oh, but that's the card for hookers and strippers. Here's my other one for my, like, movie business.
Is there a part where he's just like, he and Peter see in front of a mirror? He puts his hands on Peter's shoulders. He's massaging him. It's okay. I got you. I got what's best in mind for you. He holds him, has a slow dance with him while holding him.
While he's in, like, the wrestling costume. With no pants on for some reason, like, just to make it that fucking weird.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. There's an episode where Dennis becomes, like, a part-time, like, stripper for, like, elderly women. And Frank's his manager.
Oh, yeah. That's a good one.
They eventually said, I don't want to do ass work. And eventually Frank's like, he'll do ass work. And then they have a whole like reenactment of the scene from Taxi Driver with Frank like holding fucking Dennis. They start dancing for a minute.
Well, that pretty much kind of like almost happens here. And Peter, for some reason, like takes the card and he's like, what? He's like, I don't know about this. He's like, you'll be here at fucking 8 o'clock. Well, how do you know that? Because everybody wants to be fucking famous.
Duh.
It's fucking New York. What are you, a fucking idiot?
And then from there, they end up going and...
Well, that's where there's like another character. I can't remember it comes in, but there's like a character called Kim who's introduced. And like in the script, it's like, she's the hottest chick ever. Like whatever, like something like that. And then it's also...
She's like the hot goth chick because she's always like, apparently she's always wearing like, I think it said she's always like sunbathing or something. And then she's like, has like a pet like iguana or something like that. And she's always like being super flirty. But like Harry's the one guy, whoa, I'm flirty too. Like put your dick away.
Well, I don't think she's like goth because it mentions sort of like rock and roll a couple times with her and so on. And since it's like, I'm just going to assume since it's like 1993, it's written, I'm guessing she's going to look very Guns N' Roses-y kind of like, / like maybe Soundgarden. Like maybe a mixture of kind of like grunge / kind of like post 80s rock. You know what I mean?
Something probably like that, yeah.
Oh, like Encino Man. looking, I guess. At the end of the day, like she's fucking hanging out with Pauly Shore or something, like, you know. And like, well, there's a part. It's just so weird because like talk about like, oh, dude, she's the hottest girl in school. And the first thing she's doing, she's scalping fucking wrestling tickets. And it's like, wrestling tickets? That's what the like. You got. At school, you got this chick who's considered the hottest chick at school. Could you imagine just like, it sounds like the popular chick at school scalping fucking wrestling tickets? It just sounded like the weirdest fucking thing ever. And then she's like, hey, Flash, you want some wrestling tickets? Like, $100 Like, oh shit, I'll think about it. Maybe, I'll beat up some fucking nerds during lunchtime.
I got $20 now, so if I have... I'm not good with math, but I'm gonna go punch like a couple of people, and I'll be back with how much they got. Okay, that should
I don't know,
probably
5 to 15 nerds it will take for me to get the rest of it.
So, but something else though, I almost think that maybe because this is a point where it's just like, oh, you want the nice girl next door, but I think this day and age, a character like Kim, like the cool hot rocker chick, would probably be more the main focus than like, oh, because she seems a little bit more interesting. I mean, they don't give her a whole lot of character, but just the way they describe her compared to describe Liz, because Liz just sounds, she's like generic as fuck, and she's kind of bitchy, because she'll even kind of like let like Flash be like hit on her. She's like, oh, I'm not really dating Flash, and then like Flash be like, oh, like Peter like, hey Flash, or go fucking suck a dick, Parker. Like, oh, you boys. It's just like, this dude is blatantly bullying this guy you really like, and you can, okay, whatever. And they kind of make and like Kim is almost kind of like liking Peter a little bit too, and she's even, I don't know, she just seems a little bit more of a more interesting character than Liz in general. I don't even know if Kim's in the comics, possibly.
She's not. I tried looking her up. I couldn't find anything about that character because I didn't know who that character Kim was. So I was like, I wonder if that's just one of those other like random like really like hard to find. Like I couldn't find anything on it because everything I typed in was like Kim Possible crosses over as Spider-Man. I was like, oh, that's not what I'm looking up. But thank you.
Well, it's kind of the group dynamic, and this isn't me trying to like shit on it too hard, but the group dynamic just feels kind of awkward because it's kind of like everybody's there because, all right, Harry's there, and Gwen is there because not Gwen,
Liz.
Whatever, Liz. Harry is there because he likes Peter. And then Liz is there because she likes Peter. Not in that way. I don't want to go on a whole other random tangent.
It's like
we're going to get into a bunch of other tangents in the way there.
It's like the Archie of like, it's just everybody fucking loves Peter.
Kind of, yeah. And then like,
and then Flash fucking loves Peter.
No, Flash,
Spider-Man.
He loves Spider-Man, but Flash just wants to fuck either Kim or Liz.
Or Spider-Man.
So it all just kind of hinges on, and Spider-Man too, if he can. He knows he can't really probably swing that high. So he's probably, so it's just kind of like this weird dynamic, because nobody really even likes each other that much unless either Liz or Peter are there in the first place.
Yeah, it's got like that weird, like, they're all hanging out together, though, like, it's kind of got, like, it's that thing, it's like, well, I guess we're the only people in school, so I guess we have to sort of hang out together. Like, you know what I mean? Like, because the thing about, like, half the time, that's like, they're over at the same house, and who's there? Flash, Peter, Liz, like, Kim, everybody's fucking there. Maybe not Harry. Harry's outside fucking standing out with his, like, fucking boombox out the window.
Hoping someone will let him in. It worked in that one movie.
He's like, I did that once at Peter's house, and Uncle Ben came out and shot my stereo.
Says he's rich, he'll buy a new one.
He's like, I could have shot him. I'm that good of a shot, but here's the thing. I think it's funnier for him to go back to the store and ask his dad for a new one.
It's the little things and laugh. I mean, I could have got him. You want to see my necklace of nom ears? I can show you.
Yeah, I got the Nom Awards.
And I'm not one of those bitches who like took both ears. I took one per fucking head. Did I tell you I got 2 reams of that shit? It's like looks like one of those flower necklaces you get at a hula.
Yeah, your aunt doesn't let me wear it to fucking town. When I go shopping, she says it makes people scared. He's like, good, I want to be fucking scared. That's how you get closer in line. Look at they get out of the way for you and everything like that. Best shopping fucking experience I ever had.
Don't break eye contact.
Exactly. And don't wear a fucking
they
shirt either.
They will give you.
I mean, they might have one of those signs that says no shirt, no service, but believe me, if you got fucking ears around your neck, nobody's gonna tell you to put a shirt on.
Watch. Here, hold my shirt. Hold my fucking shirt, woman. I'm doing it. I don't care if my man titties are out. I got my ear necklace.
It's the only fucking shirt I need.
They'll give me the senior citizen and the veteran discount.
And then
who just saved 75% today? This guy.
Exactly. Fucking making deals. For all that money you wasted, Peter, I'm saving it.
So how's that schooling going?
Yeah.
School's for fools. So always told your dad. What happened to him? Oh, right, dead.
But yeah, I know your aunt always wants you to date that Liz girl, but you might as well just bring that Kim one by every once in a while, right? Here she likes sunbathing and all that stuff. You know, old Uncle Ben doesn't mind.
Did she wear a lot of eyeshadow? Oh yeah, she's gonna blow you the first date. No, and she wears a choker. Kid, what the fuck you doing going after this Liz girl, man?
Fuck this Liz girl. This is some preppy bitch. Ain't nobody. Yeah, come on. Be like your Uncle Ben. Be like your Uncle Ben. You know what I mean?
If she hates her dad, then you got this made.
Yeah, shit, I could be your dad. Come on, we'll fucking tag team this. Everybody fucking loves wrestling in this world. Let's fucking do it.
So
Spider-Man shows up the next day and goes to the fucking wrestling match. And this is the other thing that's kind of weird. I mean, I guess since it's 1993, you know, you think about it, like, this is like prime time of like all, I guess you could say, wrestling. You know what I mean? Just about, give or take. This is kind of like the point where it might be shifting a little bit. But yeah, I guess just from the writing perspective, you know, you come from like the 80s of like the Hulk Hogan era and the WWF and all this stuff, and now you're coming with the WCW kind of coming up and so on. So maybe that's why, like, because they make wrestling out like it's super fucking huge. It's like fucking Spider-Man, like a kid off the fucking streets that fucking Harvey Keitel saw him doing a backflip off like, you know, a building and said like, kid, we'll throw you into the ring at Madison Square Garden, the place everybody wants to be. You know, 35,000 fucking people will be watching you tonight. You'll be on MTV. You like MTV, kid? Of course you do. You're a fucking kid.
So he does it, and he wins, and people are like, oh my god, this Spider-Man guy. And he's going on television. He's doing good. He's getting noticed, all that kind of shit.
Yeah, so he gets there. Like, everybody's there. It's like, you know, Flash is watching it. Kim's into it. Everybody but fucking Liz is into it. Liz is the only person who's not into wrestling in New York City in this fucking script. Like, everybody makes out like, it's like, there's parts of this movie all the time where it's like, oh my god, like, here's like Harry when he meets somebody, he's like Spider-Man, he's like the best wrestler ever. Like, freaking out, like, oh my god. It's so weird. It's like, because you just think about like nowadays, could you imagine making the wrestling? I mean, I know wrestling's kind of like, it's almost like kind of having somewhat of a comeback, but I still think it's always kind of in that niche kind of section. Where, like, this thing makes it out like it's the biggest fucking thing ever. Like, you know, the only thing is Uncle Ben's probably like, fucking wrestling is a bunch of phony shit. See, baseball now, that's a fucking sport. That's what somebody in New York should be doing.
Yeah, I could totally see. Especially this Ben, because he's not like, Peter, what'd I tell you? No matter who you are, I always love you. And with great power comes great responsibility. He's just like, there's fucking mice in here, just fucking, you know, like, just stop, like, he's like, something's in the house, I'm gonna fucking find it and kill it. It's going on the fucking Nom necklace.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like, there's not real that, I don't want to be, I'm not, once again, not trying to be overly analytical or critical, but he just, I don't really, maybe I missed the line or something, but he just doesn't seem like he has that same connection that he does usually in the comics. Especially with the way it happens. I mean, they still have the Uncle Ben death, and eventually, I will say,
I kind of like this Uncle Ben, though. I'm not gonna lie. I like this Uncle Ben. Maybe it was just the way he kind of appeared in my mind, but I kind of like this Uncle Ben who seemed a little bit more like uncle-like. That's the best way to kind of say it. Not
like the perfect like surrogate father, but just kind of.
Because that's always kind of like they make him out. They always make him out like he's like almost like a great father, but like I kind of like when he's more like of your fucking uncle. He's like, you know, what I mean, like here's a Playboy magazine. Go upstairs. You ain't gonna be home for 2 hours.
Don't tell that bitch of an aunt.
Believe me, it ain't her
Don't
fucking
tell that
house.
soulless husk.
Whose name's on the deed? Fucking your Uncle Ben. That's what it says. It just says Uncle Ben on there. I don't need a fucking last name. I'm Uncle fucking Ben.
Fuck you. Now go jerk off.
Go jerk off.
Put those grubby little dick beaters to use.
Yeah. Don't you fucking dare get it on my drywall. Yeah, I'm not fucking done with your room, and I probably never will be.
The game's on. It's on every day.
Shit, if they keep putting more games and more teams keep coming out, next thing you know, I'm gonna have to build a fucking toilet in this easy chair.
I can do it, you know that. I have the time. I have the willpower.
The thing is, sometimes I just don't give a fuck.
Neither should you. Remember, Peter. With great power, don't fucking mean shit if you ain't got an easy chair.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And there's always somebody around the corner who's gonna take that fucking great power from you. You know what I mean? So you fucking hold on to that easy chair. You put all your weight into it. You keep eating fucking KFC until this chair ain't going anywhere.
That is some hungry man microwavable dinners.
Exactly, because you know what tastes better than your fucking aunt's cooking?
Why the fuck you still here?
Peter, get the fuck out of here. I thought you had your own fucking apartment. You smell like fucking shit. Or is that just me? I don't fucking care. Get the fuck out, you non-baseball playing mook.
Can you believe this fucking loser swinging around on TV? Like prancing around with these other sweaty dudes in a fucking game. Well, people cheer. I don't fucking get this. This is horse shit.
Yeah, this fucking MTV bullshit came over my baseball game last night. Wrestling at Madison Square Garden. That's where fucking boxing happens. Don't you dare fucking take that away. Don't you bring this UFC bullshit in here. I saw one of those matches before. That ain't a man's sport. You know what I mean? I want full-on boxing, nothing below the belt. This is how your
a man has respect. You don't need you grind, Pete. If I ever see you in a colorful outfit grinding your nuts against some other man's face, so help me Christ.
That's what I saw. That's all it was on that UFC. It was just get the guy on the ground and face fuck him until he gives up. How is a straight man supposed to watch that?
Granted, that's what we did in Nam, but that was different. That was war. You're sending a sign to the rest of the village. Don't come giving me your fucking doll, otherwise shit's gonna blow up.
I mean, that's different, because you're gonna slowly stab the guy in the fucking throat afterwards. He ain't seen nothing.
His family did, but they knew it was a warning.
So Peter, get the fuck out of here. You know what? Don't you ever go fuck into that wrestling thing. If I catch you looking at that Spider-Man, you ain't my fucking nephew.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. Here's a hustler.
Yeah, it's from 72.
And I know the pages are stuck together. I'd like to say that's from me, but I can't fucking remember.
It's passed around. Like your aunt.
Keep it in the family, Peter.
Pass it on to your kids and your grandkids. Oh, wait. I don't think that's gonna happen. This is probably the best you're gonna get.
Peter just slowly walks out as his uncle's laughing.
Just the fucking, you see, like, just from a corner, like a 45-degree angle from the back of the easy chair, just a fucking, like, Pabst Blue Ribbon, a koozie. Just, like, lightly shaking up and down, like, shadow of, like, shit, the light from the TV has a shadow, so you see the top of his head kind of bobbing. Like, oh, god damn it.
You fucking hate my uncle. I hope he fucking dies.
So
Peter says as he swings away.
Fuck that dude. Hope you get shot. So we then jump over to, I want to say, the short and simple. I want to say there's some more scenes, like, oh, they go over here and he talks to Liz for a minute and whatever, but...
Yeah, I think there's also... Then there's the part where they're at, like, the school dance or whatever. That might...
Yeah, he...
We're like...
goes to the school dance.
And it's like a Halloween dance, of course, and of course, fucking Flash is dressed as Spider-Man and whatnot, and... I can't remember what anybody else. Peter,
Yeah,
it was like
and
Peter was the
everyone's-
only one not dressed up for some reason.
Yeah, and then short and simple, he just like, oh, well, I gotta go. And then he leaves and he comes dressed up. Like, someone gets passed a note passes around a couple people, apparently. Someone is a King Gru gets the note and actually hops their way to the center of the stage. Like, is this the furry convention? Anyway, here's the note. And from there, like, oh, hey, guys, we got a special announcement from MTV Spider-Man. And then he comes down and be like, what? Spider-Man? You know, and then he just dances with MJ for a second, and Flash
The Mighty
stands
Boss
there.
tones are playing in the background, and
Flash wants to jerk off to it or something like that. I guarantee you that I think this is probably one of those points where they're keeping it open in case something happens, in case some like band or whoever they can get. I guarantee you they're saving a spot for like some upcoming 90s band. And just like I bet there probably would have been like some maybe Hulk Hogan or some kind of cameo going on at the wrestling thing, if depending on who was available.
yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? There would have been something in there at that time period. You know, because
So he dances with. Oh yeah, go ahead.
oh, he does. Yeah, he dances with Liz, and Harry stands by the side, being like, "Oh, okay, Kim, can I dance?" It's like, no, Harry, nobody fucking likes you. Why don't you just go kill yourself and get it over with? Oh, okay.
You can borrow this. You can borrow this studded belt I have. Go in the men's room.
Yeah. And fucking Harry.
I think the bathroom stalls, the bars and the bathroom stalls look like they're pretty sturdy. How do you know what the men's bathroom stalls look like? Oh, come on, look at me. You don't think I ever fucked a dude in the men's bathroom stall? I totally have.
I fucked a chick in the men's bathroom. Oh, really? Can I watch? No, fucking Harry, you can't watch unless you got $500. If you got $500, you can fucking watch. Do you got $500?
I'm rich. Like, okay,
I'm really fucking rich. You know what? Maybe I don't want that money.
I was expecting that.
Yeah, geez, shit, I didn't know how rich he was. I mean, I know we're at school, but you know, whatever, you know, shit. Flash got here on his football scholarship. I got here on my good looks. You know, Peter got here on a scholarship that's just barely like, you know, covering the bills, or it is covering the bills, but you know, just enough that like he has to still work a fucking job. And then you know, Liz, her parents probably paid for it all.
Look at her. Yeah.
Look at her. She's plain Jane. Her whole life she's just kind of had her nose in a book and wanted to study to be the best, and she's probably not going anywhere. This is one of the weird. Kim just has this like long scene moment, just breaking down all the characters.
Single spotlight silhouettes on her, like a one person play, like slow zoom in.
You know, feel like, fuck it.
It's kind of like whenever like fucking Tevye, like in Fiddler on the Roof, says like, "Wait a minute," just stops everything.
Hold the phone. A fiddler on the roof sounds crazy, no? But
Yeah.
this is like just have these moments where just like this random character of Kim, like this one Spider-Man character that's not in there, just kind of like steps out to like fucking breaks the fourth wall to talk to the audience.
Like, this is so weird. What do I do with my life? I mean, I did the whole Guns N' Roses thing because I was trying to rebel, but I'm starting to have second guesses on who I really am. Like, why are we focusing so much on this character who's not even in the comics and was not really even part of a narrative, and now they're totally breaking the fourth wall? Like, trying something different, trying something artsy, reach out to this generation.
Yeah, exactly. You just don't know. You know, and there's this band up on stage called The Offspring, who's, you know, supposed to be the new thing, but look at the way I'm dressed. Can I change? Is this who I am, or do I stay who I am now, you know?
Is it too late for me?
Yeah, am I just too old now? I'm 21. Where do I go from here? Harry, get the fuck out of my narrative. Oh, okay.
Oh, he just stood there jerking off, all fucking wide-eyed and shit.
Just jerking off of like $100 bill.
Just wipes it up like, oh shit. Anyway, so and then originally fucking Wiener and Ock reunite, and he's like, I must make my universe destroy.
I'm so sorry I threw you out. How can I ever repay you? Could you come in? I'll stroke your wiener with my 6 hands.
Oh, I'm sure there's a fan fiction for that out there somewhere.
You know, so he comes in and then fucking he's like, I think there's the part where Doc Ock's like, I need, $500,000 to build my, whatever fucking transformer power station that will, explode the world. And how are we gonna get it? We're gonna rob some motherfuckers.
Off screen. And then, which that could have been a cool scene. That's something that a lot of these...
I thought he took on like a fucking bank or whatever and like rob some shit.
I want to say it's very quick. Maybe he does. I want to say it's like a quick thing. Like we see him rip off like the vault door and that's it. But
probably that's.
I want to say, and I understand that most of these movies, the hero is always the focus, but I kind of wish they would show like the bad guy doing some heist shit every so often in like superhero movies. Because I know the main character is the focus, but every so often it's just kind of fun to watch that,
Well, it'd be kind of fun to watch a movie where, like, it almost, like, it could be just any superhero, but, like, we'll just use Spider-Man, for example, since we're talking about that. Like, you have Spider-Man, but, like, the main perspective just kind of comes the whole time from, like, the villain. You know what I mean? So whether you have, like, Lizard or whatever, you have, like, fucking Doc Ock, or you have, like, Scorpion or something like that, like, that's who you're focusing on. That's who you see all the stuff of, like, his fucking hanging out and so on like that. Spider-Man just kind of shows up to fight him, like, at those moments when they're both on screen at the same time, but if they're both not on screen at the same time, it goes back to just being, like, about the villain. That'd be kind of just an interesting, like, way to go about it if you want to do something different.
When you think about it, that's kind of what Tim Burton's first two Batman movies were, when you think back on it. They focused more on Joker and Penguin than they did Batman. Mm-hmm. Batman still had his story, he still had his arc, but a lot of it was, like, let's give a lot of screen time to the villains here.
Yeah, well, that's also just like, well, we paid a lot for Jack Nicholson, so let's get him some, let's give him some stuff to do, But which that is true, because that is like one of the few ones where it does kind of focus a little bit, like almost like a 60-40 almost, I would say. But I mean, I almost feel like if you went like hardcore, where like there's a couple Batman comics that I can think of where like it's one of those ones where like. I think it's like that Joker one where like Batman only appears like those like couple times in it, and like beyond that though it's just always like Joker. That one that has like I think it's by you have the
Brent
book.
Azzarello.
Yeah, that one. Is it just called Joker? I think that
it's just called Joker, yeah, and it's from like the perspective of his right hand man who is up and coming, and then by the end he's killed by the Joker because he thinks that he's special. He thinks because he sticks with the Joker when everyone else is either dying or leaving, and he thinks that he's special, and he thinks that he's like the Joker likes him and trusts him, and maybe he does as much as he can, but ends up being like, no, it's all about the Joker, because Joker's going on a mad spree, he's laughing, he's shooting people, and then he's doing the same thing. He's just like, you're ruining it, and he starts beating the shit out of them. That's when Batman comes in, and in the process, Joker kills him, and not Batman, but kills Johnny, and then he falls off a bridge, basically. So,
yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Anyway,
but back to Spider-Man. I think it's after that dance. Isn't it that part where Spider-Man's like, I gotta get home. I'm having a spider like feeling, and he gets like in a cab for some fucking reason. Spider-Man gets in a cab.
Yeah, he gets in a cab. And then,
that's like one of those ones where it's like, Spider-Man gets in a cab. You know what I mean? Like, there's a superhero that could get in a cab. You know what I mean? If Cyclops got in a cab, I would believe that, but Spider-Man's getting in a cab. He can't fucking web swing. He can't fucking run probably faster than this cab. But whatever. He gets in the cab. He's like, we got to go to Aunt May's house. Something's going on. And I can't remember if he gets like word or whatever, but like fucking Wiener's out like looking for Peter Parker's data. And for some reason, like I think he goes to like Peter's apartment and Peter's not there or whatever. And so he decides to go to Aunt May's and Ben's house. And then like, Uncle Ben wakes up, he's like, there's a fucking intruder, where's my fucking gun? And he's like looking around the house, he's like trying to load his gun. It's like Wiener's fucking going through the house downstairs there and whatnot, and fucking Uncle Ben runs down of his fucking robe and his fucking balls hanging out and shit like an old man.
Guess what you're sucking other than the end of this barrel, boy?
I'll teach you to rob. And then in this process,
it's time for some man wrestling. Everyone else seems to be into it.
Yeah, he gets in the struggle with fucking Wiener. He's like, I'll put a fucking wiener in you. And in this part, Uncle Ben fucking die. I can't remember how did he die in this place. There's like a scuffle.
They're struggling with the gun, and you hear the gun go off screen, and Peter's like, "Hey man, can you hurry up? My spider sense is tingling. What the fuck is that? I don't know. Usually it's only when something's near me, but for some reason,
whoa! You back the fuck up. What's tingling on you? Get the fuck out of my cab. Something's tingling. You get the fuck out of here. I want to know that fucking weird sex shit you got going on.
What you kids are into." But no, but like I don't need you doping and trying to suck me off in the back of the car.
Yeah.
Get
your fucking AIDS out of here. Freddie Mercury fucking died because of that, and that's how you're gonna fucking die too.
And like, I see the colors on that costume. I know what time it is.
Well, I know what you're up to. Shit, I was young once. It was called the 70s.
I used to dress up in...
It wasn't gay in the 70s. It only became gay once the 80s came around.
Then he ends up they just kind of struggle, and then you hear the gun go off screen, and Peter gets there just not enough in time, and then we hear I want to say, I don't remember what comes first, if they're in the hospital and they hear that Ben's not making it, and then Aunt May's like, "Oh no," or if he goes and chases down Wiener, and Wiener has the whole thing like, "But Doc Ock made me do it. I didn't want to. He made me. He wanted your data." Actually, I think it comes later, because he actually got the data. I think he got whatever data he was looking for, and then later he finds Wiener. I think that's what happened.
Yeah, exactly, and tracks him down and so on.
Oh, wait, no, because they find out at the hospital. That's what happens. They're at the hospital, and the detective's like, "Yeah, your uncle died. He wanted you to have this." Hands him, like, his necklace of ears.
Of ears and then, so on.
And then from there,
he said, I spent 25 fucking years trying to make you a man. Yeah, I know you weren't born yet, and that's a little bit longer, but fuck it. Here's the thing. I had enough time to write this will before I die. I wrote it on the floor in blood. My own blood. Thank you very fucking much. But here, if baseball can't make you a man, beer can't make you a man, and an easy chair can't make you a man, well, maybe this fucking ear that I got from Vietnam can make you a man, because fuck it, I guess I don't need it anymore. Your uncle, Ben. Just so you don't fucking forget. With great power comes, shut the fuck up, Aunt May.
I don't know why I wrote that in there. But then he's just like, one of the weird things, chances are, if he would have just listened to us, he would have survived, because he kept on crawling across the floor, reaching into his own bullet wound and riding it. I mean, it was really kind of his own fault. If he just shut the fuck up and listen to us, let us put him into the bed, he wouldn't have had to write the will. But like I say, he's stubborn. He says this is how a man dies.
So Peter's broken by his uncle, even though he's kind of glad at the same fucking time. But Aunt May,
he's just kind of like, okay.
He doesn't like
this Uncle Ben death isn't like, because when I was a kid and first saw Uncle Ben die, I mean, I knew it was coming because I knew the cartoon and the comic, but at the same time, I wasn't like, oh, I was like, that hit me. And that part when in the Sam Raimi one, when he's swinging the webs for the first time, he's like, I'm gonna get this motherfucker. I was totally amped. And this scene, I mean, once again, we're reading it, not seeing it, but
yeah, it probably would be kind of sad in this one, but this, I think it's also like there's only like 2 scenes of Uncle Ben before he dies, I guess. You know what I mean? Like he
dies in the halfway point of the movie, though, not early on. Like,
well, yeah, he definitely dies much later, but there's really not that like. I can only think about there's just Uncle Ben's fucking watching baseball and drinking beer, and Uncle Ben drinking beer and watching baseball.
And walking around in his house with a gun. Yeah,
in a bathrobe with nothing underneath.
I think what if they just had like this super like awkward like what if he was just like fucking like dirty old person fucking sex when Wiener breaks in. You see like Ben like his hands against like the bedboard, fuck, just going at it like Ben, there's one side. Shut the fuck up, I'm almost done. Ben, shut the fuck. Damn it. He gets up like, just like Gets out of the fucking bed, does a whole Harvey Keitel, just fucking.
This Uncle Ben could be played by Harvey Keitel.
He probably would have been a good choice. He would have been old enough by that point, because he looks older by this point in Reservoir Dogs. So
yeah, because this would have been like Reservoir Dogs time period right after that, or this would have been like The Wolf.
I just like what an interesting choice that would have been. Like, cause just this older couple just fucking going at it real fucking hard, just just like that one where the kid looks over, or like with like there's like a couple with like their like kids there, and they're like, this movie got a PG-13. At some point, like it's not just like even like, oh, we're cutting in the tail end of it. We're like on it for maybe like 2 minutes. Like he has one hand against like the wall, the other hand against like the baseboard of the bed. He like drops his head down, like, oh, what? I'm trying to think of something so I don't come yet. It's like, fucking Clinton getting reelected. Okay, this goes again. Then fucking Weeder comes busted in like, Jesus fucking Christ! He grabs his robe, grabs the fucking gun out of the drawer. And that's, so eventually that leads back. We were jump back forward to what's really going on in the scripts. At some point, we end up jumping forward, and I don't remember. I want to say like the doctor that came in earlier on in the movie, the professor that he gave his thing to, like Doc Ock is once again doing science shit. Things are merging together. Spider-Man saves a few people from like a subway train that gets like fused into the side of a building somehow. Oh yeah, there's that part where there's like that subway kind of action scene and so on. And then, does Doc Ock appear in that battle too? I can't remember. I know I just read this like not that long ago. I want to say that he needs more like supplies or something. So he needs plutonium at some point. And they like plutonium. That's what he needs. He's like, I need fucking plutonium. And so like they're kind of like chasing after him. Almost like, oddly enough, there's like a point where like fucking Flash is fucking driving Spider-Man somewhere. Once again, fucking Spider-Man is like riding in a They keep on just bumping into each other. Yeah, they're going across the bridge, and he's having Flash. He's fighting. He's going after Doc Ock because I want to say, while trying to save some people, he ends up saving the scientist, and then Doc Ock comes in, and from there they end up doing like Peter ends up helping like Gwen and like I want to say no. Before that, they had a small scene where, not Gwen, I keep on saying Gwen, Liz, for some reason, is at Aunt May's house, like, hey, I'm just hanging out here for whatever reason. Like, oh yeah, my nephew always liked you. Oh, he did? Yeah. Does he know you like him back? Does he know you like you back? Like, no, I don't think he really knows. Fuck him. Yeah, fuck him. Oh, there's the other guy, Flash, okay, the guy that bullies your nephew. Oh, he looks nice. Yeah, kind of, All right, bye. Yeah, there's that part too. Is like the Aunt May almost has the scene where it's like, Liz, you could fuck the guy named Flash, but that's as far as it goes. Peter's he's the long-term commitment guy. Just saying. So, I hope you know how this fucking works. I'm not sure if I'm looking for that. Like, I know I can get the long-term commitment guy in the long run, but I'm still young and I don't want to get married like at 22. I want to live. I want to fuck something raw. I want to be like, oh, you're sounding like that Kim girl. Well, Kim almost even seems like she seems like she's got her act together, Liz. Just saying, your Aunt May knows better. You know my Aunt May. I'm everybody's Aunt May. Don't you fucking forget that. You know who you're fucking talking to. Well, you didn't think I have an attitude? Did you see my fucking husband before he fucking died? You think anybody can handle that? Fuck no. You need a nice fucking boy. Don't make me come over and beat the fucking shit out of you right here. I'll fucking do it. I'm 66. I don't give a flying fuck. I just like to imagine like they're in like the room is very dimly lit with a faint blue tint from the television. She's sitting there like just looking at her basically through her eyebrows, just like Like giving her like that Full Metal Jacket stare, you know.
She's got like just like a little like shawl over her shoulders and just looks like the most nicest like old aunt you could kind of imagine, but just giving her this like fucking lip like, no, you're gonna fucking date Peter, because you know what, I know what's best for you. I know what's best for you too, and I know you're a bunch of fuck ups if your old aunt doesn't come here and fix everything right.
I'm just saying. We're here. We're gonna play the real game right now. This is the real game. Just puts like a fucking revolver on the counter. One bullet, spins it. Oh, what's this gonna be? Like, Aunt May, no. Oh, lucky again. Your turn. Oh, look, Flash is here. Oh, convenient.
If Flash is outside, yo, babe, babe.
I just like the idea of just like, Aunt May's like, oh yeah, Ben acted like he was all big talk shit, but, only when we were in the room, guess who's really running shit? When it was just me and him? Oh, no.
Who's got him by the balls? Aunt May did. Who's still fucking alive? Aunt May is. That's fucking
Think about it, Liz.
That gun didn't just go off.
I'm 75 years old. I wonder if you'll live that long. We'll find out, I guess.
Oh, yeah, by the way,
so
I already fucked Flash, just saying. Yeah, Aunt May can still fucking do it.
It's nothing special.
Nothing fucking special. Not special like Peter.
Aunt May fucks.
So, Liz, you made the right fucking decision. Like Aunt May just goes to the extremes to get fucking Peter a date.
Yeah, no, it's just like... It's one of those things where... Yeah, I think that actually scene would have made it better. Because the other one was very much just like, oh, you like Peter? Yeah, I like Peter. He likes you. Oh, too bad he didn't say anything. Yeah, all right, cool. Bye. What are you doing here? I don't know.
Yeah, that's like yeah, what is Liz even fucking doing? Maybe she's looking for Peter. Because they're always looking for Peter, because Peter's always fucking, that Spider-Man thing. Peter's always disappearing, I wonder why. Mm-hmm. We never seem to wonder why Peter and, Spider-Man are not in the same room at the same time.
And at some point, I think Harry and Peter deduce that Oct is up to some crazy shit, because they read into like, oh wait, because of this science shit over here,
science!
And wavelengths and all that shit in the air. I think it's happening over here. And then like J. Jonah Jameson go, Peter, I need you to get downtown. Some crazy shit's going on. You gotta take pictures. Like, okay. And then gets out there and starts doing some Spider-Man shit. And I think that's where it leads to this crazy chase, where he fights Doc Ock, and then they help, like, Doc Ock gets in a position where he goes to New Jersey, and he's basically holding, Liz and Flash hostage, and says, like, okay, Peter and scientist guy who just happened to be here, Rosamov or whatever his name is, you guys are going to help me load this plutonium in my car, or I'm going to kill these two right here. And yeah, it's going to ultimately end the world, but that's my thing. I don't know. I'm just kind of bored. I want to do that. And then it's like, all right, well, they do that, and then like, I don't want no one following me. So from there,
well, then there's also, I think there's like Harry and Kim. They got like the hacker scene going on with those two, which we learned.
It's a 90s movie, so you had to have a hacker scene.
Yeah, so like for some reason, like we learned that Harry does have one skill. He can use a fucking computer. Go figure. And then for some reason, Kim's like the one. She's like, they kind of make her like, well, she's the cool hot girl, but guess what? She actually fucking knows how to use a computer too, Like they were like, whoever was writing this, I think really is like, you know what? I want to make fucking Kim seem like the ultimate girl. Just saying.
Even though she's not the main focus. Even though she's
not the main focus. Like, she's written almost like a character out of like, almost like a modern story, I guess you would almost say. Because like for 1993, it's just like, oh, I guess at that time period, you would, that's when you started having like the cool kind of hip girl who had all the skills kind of. I guess that was about right when that time period that kind of happened.
You would have that character, but a lot of times that character would either be like the best friend's hot friend, or it would be something to the effect. Maybe that character would be the main character, or maybe if it was like an ensemble cast, that would be like in singles or something. That would be like what's her name? Like the is it Juliette Lewis, or is it who's in singles? Who's the girl
it's not Juliette Lewis, because it's
not Juliette Lewis. Bridget Fonda? No, not Bridget Fonda.
God, I'm not gonna remember her name off the top of my head.
You know who I'm talking about? There's the girl who, maybe it was Bridget. Maybe it was Bridget Fonda. It was the girl who wanted to be like, even though she's probably not the badass punker chick, she came across a little bit more hipper and all that. She was the girl who was like really wanted to date a rock star, but then you're like, you know what? I'm happy being single. That girl. You know what I mean? You know what?
Yeah, exactly.
Like maybe that character, it seems like they're trying to make her sort of kind of like that to some extent, not as like codependent on a guy, but at the same time kind of more of that type of girl, that type of archetype. But at the same time, that girl was never really the main girlfriend, unless it was maybe some kind of indie comedy or something at the time, or indie drama.
Yeah, like I could almost think of like cartoons that would have stuff similar, like Jessie maybe in like Real Adventures of Johnny Quest. Or even like in like Carmen Sandiego, like the main kind of chick character in that. You know what I mean?
Well, a lot of times I feel like those girl characters, like the main character in all those type of shows, like they would always have like the cool hot friend, but then they would have like they'd still be going after the preppy girl or whatever.
Yeah, because that's a lot of times what would always happen is they would have that be like, it's almost like, well, she's like one of the dudes.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, she seen me naked. Me and Haji were walking around, straight around naked. It's like it didn't feel awkward when she was there, but you know what I mean? She just felt like a brother.
With tits.
Yeah, with tits. I mean, like, I don't know. I just pictured a dick on her, and that's kind of how it was.
For some reason, I liked her more. What's that say about me? I don't know, but time for another quest. I don't think about it. I just push it all to the back of my mind.
Let's just go with it, you know? But, so yeah.
What race tells me.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how, like, it's like there is that kind of thing. Well, it's almost like, I think of that one, there's that John Hughes movie where, which one is it? Is it Pretty in Pink or is it, 16 Candles? There's the one where, there's pretty much like the friend that's just like is about as cool as you could possibly get, and then she totally changes for like the one he goes totally for the preppy guy. Like just maybe that is that.
I don't remember.
God, I'm drawing.
I know that. Well, I want to say 16 Candles originally. We'll go back to Spider-Man in a second here, but we're breaking down this archetype that's in this movie, so it all kind of connects, kind of. 16 Candles. I want to say the original ending is the main girl, I forgot her name. What's the redhead that's in all the John Hughes? Molly Ringwald. She originally went with the nerdy guy, but then test audiences hate it. It's like, he's a fucking nerd.
That's right.
Why would she do that? And then like, all right, well, I guess the preppy guy is who she goes with, and the nerdy guy goes with the hot chick, and I guess he lies to her and tells her that they fucked, kind of making it sort of a rape, and she's cool with it.
That's what it is, because it's like it's one of those ones where you look at that, it's like it's so weird. That's like, oh, that's how it goes. Like, you know, I think also I want to say the other John Hughes ones. It's like, God, there's one I have where it's the other where
Breakfast Club, the nerdy guy, because yeah, they think that there's the
not the Breakfast Club.
There's the goth weird chick the whole time, and then Molly Ringwald preps her up.
Oh well, there's that where like they pretty much go like, here we'll fix you, and like it's like, well, she looked better beforehand, but yeah, that's like that's like an '80s thing where it's like, you know, you ain't gonna get anywhere if you ain't a prep. You know what I mean?
Look at Grease.
Yeah, as if, you know.
Oh no, Grease is the reverse. Grease is like, why are you doing all prep? Just, you know, why are you being all prep? Show your tits out and wear some eyeshadow, whatever. That's what Grease ends on.
Get in the back of my fucking car. We're racing and singing.
We're flying. How are we flying? Don't question it. Broom.
But there is like that weird thing where it's just like
we're racing and singing. Okay. Go back.
It's just that weird thing where it's like you have somebody, like, in a sense, let's just say it. We're bringing back to Spider-Man. You got fucking Kim here. Like, what the fuck is Spider-Man doing with fucking Liz? You know what I mean? Fuck Liz. You know, what the fuck did she ever do for him? Really, if anything, I mean, like, I guess if you want to give Harry, but Harry ain't giving fucking Liz. Let's just be honest. But,
not this Harry. James Franco Harry, definitely. Not this one.
Harry's not even gonna get laid with a fucking $1,000 bill between his like nuts. You know what I mean? It's just like he's just that guy in this story.
Some things money just can't buy.
but but it's just one of those ones like you just kind of go like, there's this chick that seems like so much way cooler, but like they just kind of treat her as just side character, goofy. I mean, I guess granted she isn't like a Spider-Man character. I think that's the reason why she's side character, but it is that thing where
they feel the need to like really insert her in there though.
Yeah, there's just that weird thing where it's like sometimes like you could almost, it's that weird thing where it's like there could be almost like the more perfect character, but that's not what the one Spider-Man wants. That's not the one that like the main character goes for. It's that odd thing. I don't know.
Well, it's kind of weird because Mary
John
Jane,
Hughes stuff.
As time went on, they made Mary Jane more of kind of a little bit of the girl next door. But when she first popped in, she was the wild and fun party girl.
Yeah, like, hey Tiger, you just hit the fucking jackpot.
Bam! Yeah, and then Gwen Stacy was the perfect girlfriend, and people thought Gwen Stacy was kind of boring. And then retroactively, they went back and made Gwen Stacy more interesting by making her Spider-Gwen
and making her kind of like alternative.
Yeah, and then in Ultimate Spider-Man, they made Gwen Stacy like the punk rock metal chick. So, yeah, and it kind of goes back and forth and all that. But yeah, so this version, but yeah, going forward from here though, Spider-Man. I mean, I guess we could say, all right, from there. They go here and they learn this, they learn that. But essentially, at the end of the day, Doc Ock gets what he needs. They figure out what he's going to do. And what he's going to do is going to basically destroy the world, destroy the universe. And he just wants to do it because he thinks through destruction comes creation. And that's it. Nothing else. And there's nothing really like, well, the universe is so twisted and so corrupt that we should start it all over. Nothing
I just don't want Clinton to get reelected.
That's all it is. That's all it is. I voted for Bob Dole.
Bob Dole. Bob Dole. Bob Dole. Oh, Jesus Christ.
That's
I didn't
all
expect the Spider-Man movie to get so political all of a sudden towards the end.
Oh, what can you say? And then it comes in through what's I gonna say? He ends up doing some shit where they all get to near the campus, but then the campus starts to at least the section of what would be Octavius's lab starts to float, kind of like Sokovia in Age of Ultron. Just starts to levitate because he's doing all this crazy science shit. So that building starts to float away, and you got like Flash, Kim, and Harry all witness it, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. And then by this point, Spider-Man, Liz, Ock, and the Doctor, Ross or whatever, are all up there. At some point, Ross is all like, they have a battle, shit's floating around, and then they have some scenes like, oh, Liz is falling against the wall, but then upside down, then this and that, whatever. Probably just some stuff to show off the effects at the time.
Yeah, they got just kind of special effects type action and so on, and yeah, just a big old battle kind of ensues between, Doc Ock and Spider-Man and what have you.
And then from there, we end up having, like, at some point, Ross is like, you gotta save him, like, there's the one scene where they try to give, like, Doc a little bit of personalities. It's like, you were my teacher, you were supposed to show me, like, why now you're trying to stop what I'm doing, and he's yelling at the scientist guy, and I didn't realize, I thought they were, like, roughly the same age, but apparently Doc's meant to be younger or something. And yeah,
because I always thought, the whole time I was when I got that part, I was kind of confused. I'm like, oh, I thought, yeah, they're almost like rivals and what have you. They're both like fucking in their 60s or what have you.
Yeah, and then Spider-Man can't save the Doctor. He falls. They're basically floating up to space, and they're kind of almost in this void thing. So here's where I'm kind of wondering. I'm wondering. Wouldn't surprise you least bit if some shit like this happened in the comics. But I'm also kind of wondering, is this where Into the Spider-Verse kind of pulled some shit from? Just kind of like, here's something that a lot of people won't get, but we're just going to throw it in there because fuck it.
Mm-hmm. You never know.
Because they're just basically in this void for a minute, and heading up to space. And then the scientist falls through some cracks and dies, and Spider-Man's like, no, murderer! And he fights Ock a little bit more. But then Ock's getting closer to, like, the being, and he kind of fuses with it, and then he dies, but nothing else dies. But then the thing is coming cratering down to the earth.
Yeah, and then isn't that the part where like Spider-Man grabs like Liz or whatnot, and then like they fucking like jump off and like have like the most like American like fucking way. They like grab like an American flag and like parachute down.
Yeah, they come down. They're landing on Central Park.
Like they're just the biggest really fucking American flag, just like hell yeah.
And without saying it, Liz kind of says to, because by that point, Spider-Man runs around the corner and just like, whoo, whoo, and get threw off the outfit. Like, hey, I was here the whole time. Don't worry about me. I'm Peter. It's weird how it happened. Yeah, I just got here. Okay, well, let's figure out what we can do. Spider-Man told me we should do this. Like, okay, yeah. So then from there, they, without kind of saying what exactly, they acknowledge like, hey, so some kind of like, passive dialogue, like, I narrowed it down of who you are. And he's like, oh, well, lucky me, whatever. And they kiss, and then credits. Like that.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. Just a little bit, but yeah. Yeah, as I said, like, they're literally coming down. This is like, because it literally goes to credits, and they're coming down with a big fucking American flag, just land. That's like it. I don't even think they even fucking land. It's just America and like the sky. They're just like, I will give it credit that it just fucking ends. I'm kind of glad. I like when there's like not the extended ending, just like boom, villain's done, we're out of here. But
yeah,
this is one of those ones like it's a very. This sounds kind of weird, but like this is how when I read it, it feels like a made-for-TV movie. Like that's kind of how it came across. Like there's some special effects in there and some action scenes that are a little bit bigger, but for the most part, like the rest of the movie, like I literally felt like. It almost felt like, or I'll even say this, it's kind of like, an Arrow kind of episode, you know what I mean? Like, not saying like in a bad way, but just kind of like, had like that TV kind of feel, like this would just be like a 3-episode like arc or something.
Well, a lot of the characters, I'm not, I understand that there wasn't a whole lot of like movies, there wasn't a whole lot of like big screen superhero movies to go off of by this point. But I guess they're just like, all right, well, I guess we make it comic booky. I guess we make it kind of tongue in cheek, right? Because that's what a lot of them were kind of thinking. That's how do we approach this shit? This shit's wacky. I think we just kind of make it wacky intentionally, and hopefully people are along for the ride, right? And out of that, though, I mean, Peter's just nerdy and punches people once in a while. Harry's just nerdy and jerks off and has a computer. Liz is girl. Kim is hot girl, Flash is bully, Ross is smart, and Ock is evil smart, and Wiener is, so that's it.
Wiener's just a fucking dick.
Yeah, he's just a dick, and he's a goon.
And Ben's your crazy fucking uncle who doesn't like to wear underwear underneath his fucking, like, robe.
Ben's the best part of this whole script.
That really is the takeaway, and I know we kind of embellished on it, but like just the Ben itself, I think would have been kind of like a fun Ben just to kind of see in here. But yeah, it is one of these ones like granted, I think once again, if you would have saw this in 1995 as a movie, it probably would have been kind of cool. You probably would have been like, you know what, that actually would be cool at that time period, I think it's just one of those ones, just kind of like, once we have fucking, 7 Spider-Mans or whatever the hell we have now, or I don't know, way more than that, don't we?
It's like 9 or 10 by this point, I think. Let's see. Spider-Man.
3 Raimis.
1, 2, and 3.
2
we have 3
amazing.
Raimis. Then we got
Spider-Verse.
2 Marvels.
And 2 Marvel. I'm not
8.
gonna. Yeah. So that's still quite a bit. So I think it's kind of once you see that, because this is one of these ones where it's like this script's kind of one of those ones where it's like, yeah, I'll even say this, even just past the first 2 Sam Raimi movies, this one kind of feels kind of like, oh, okay, as it just seems kind of like, it's like a mixture of like, if you took 1 and 2 and just kind of like made it simple and, just Doc Ock, and they're in college, but he's not Spider-Man yet, and Spider-Man's not even like really swinging this one. That's the thing about the script. I try thinking like, he's barely, I don't even know if he is even swinging too many scenes in here. The only time he's like swinging down.
Probably a budget thing. And he's taking a car everywhere.
Yeah, he's always taking a car, or he's taking an American flag somewhere. That's how he's getting around.
Well, another thing to keep in mind is the first company this was at was that low-budget company, Canon. So they're like, keep it in mind with the script. Well, keep in mind with the budget. So they're probably just like, okay, he'll swing once in a while when he's in like a room. I think he was Calico at one point, but before that it was like, I think it was Canon Pictures or something like that. It was whoever did Superman 4, Quest for Peace. Whoever did that, those guys. They also did Masters of the Universe.
Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, there's like another kind of like early.
It jumped around from 3 or 4 different companies. MGM was going to do it at one point, I think. And then like it was literally this ping pong thing of people suing each other back and forth. And by the time Cameron, once he got his hands on this thing, he looked at the script like, ooh, all right, I got my own idea. Throw my name on it for now, and then we'll come back to this. We'll keep the budget in mind as we go on. And then that's when Fox would not want to throw down more money. And by that point, the rights expired. He's like, fuck it. And his whole thing is like Spider-Man. Spider-Man was like the only character he was really into. Like, I like Marvel, but, and I know, he said, I saw him like, I was just doing some research for this interview. He says, I was never a DC guy. I like the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, but I was never a DC guy. I liked Marvel, but I loved Spider-Man. So if I can't do Spider-Man, then there's no real superhero movie I'm really interested in doing. So
it's funny because then it's like, but I fucking read manga because I love Alita and everything like that.
It's very obvious he likes manga. I mean, he was one of the people trying to get Ghost in the Shell off the ground for a while. Him and Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, exactly. I think there was kind of like a lot there. Which is kind of, well, it's like in the Alita special features when James Cameron's talking, he's like, oh yeah, it's like somebody gave me like the book back in the day. I was like, I thought it was fucking amazing. And he's like, then I had the anime or whatever, and he's like, I really wanted to make this thing, and it's just like, oh. And it's like, I guess that's like at that time for about the age range, but it's just kind of weird since when you think about that, you're like, oh, that's interesting, but like, So I guess it's like, it's just kind of weird. But it's like, oh, I only like Spider-Man. It just seems like, oh, okay, but you never know.
Well, I think that he's also one of those directors. He's, very different types of movies, but he's kind of like a Quentin Tarantino. He only puts out a movie every so often. He even has less movies than Tarantino when you think about it. He has Piranha 2. He has
Terminator
2, Aliens, Abyss.
The Abyss.
And then does True Lies, and then Avatar. Right? He did some underwater documentary stuff, but
I'm not going to count
Titanic.
That. Titanic and Avatar.
So 8 movies. He has about the same amount of movies as Tarantino, maybe like one less. So
it's kind of weird because it's like he's in the 80s, he's making movies like all the time, and then all of a sudden he like slows down after like T2. And then
he became more interested, I think, in the technology that made the movies and pushing them forward with technology.
Well, I think it's like it's him and George Lucas kind of had the same thing too, because it's like almost like George Lucas sort of it looks on paper like he just stopped making movies, but it's like, oh no, he was just fucking working on technology and like all those kind of companies and animation and this stuff for such a long time. I think that's the same thing about James Cameron. So yeah, it's kind of weird to think about James Cameron. It's almost like, has he like kind of just like stopped directing in a sense? Like
he produced a bunch of stuff for a while. When you think back on like,
well, he's still pretty, because he's produced like T6 and he produced Alita and so on. But it just was like he hasn't just sat down and directed a long time. And the thing is like generally when it's a James Cameron movie, it's like he fucking you think about like especially like all his old movies, it's like they're all fucking amazing. You know what I mean? Like Terminator, True Lies, Aliens. It's just like, even like The Abyss and so on. They're all like really fucking good movies. And then it's like all of a sudden it's kind of like, because as a kid that would have been like that director. It's like it's like, oh fucking James Cameron's so awesome. It's like not saying anything now, but it's like now it just seems like it's been like fucking 20 years. You've done like, I know he's done stuff, but you know what I mean. As far as movies goes, it's like it feels like you did 2 things.
Yeah, no, because it's been a minute for him. But at the same time, he's talking about he's going to do like 3 or 4 more Avatar movies now. Which, I didn't. I'm one of those people. I didn't dislike Avatar 1. I thought it was good. I just wasn't blown away by it. Technology. It looked good at the time and all that, and it still looks good now. But it was just one of those movies. I think it was more just a showcase of technology and where it's come, and I would love to see. I don't know.
See, because I even feel those Avatars, you know what's going to happen? They're going to have the Sin City problem that's going to be so late by the time they finally come out that I just don't think people are going to care as much.
Well, people, for some reason, this isn't me trying to shit on Avatar, people fucking loved Avatar when it came out.
Yeah.
You and I, people like you and me weren't totally in love with it because we already liked a lot of science fiction and genre type stuff, and I think people who don't really read a lot of comics or manga or watch anime or play a lot of video games, I think those people are like, whoa, science fiction can look this cool and do this kind of shit. And like, yeah. I mean, it just seems kind of like, I mean, not trying to sound like a dick or condescending. It seemed kind of like very basic sci-fi type shit to us, but I think for a lot of movies, people weren't used to seeing something. I guess it came, I don't know. I'm not sure if it's coming out as eloquently as I'd like it to, but
no,
you see what I'm saying?
I know what you mean, because there is people out there that like they look at that movie like super highly, and it's like, well, it's one's like, I think it's an interesting movie, and it's like, it's one's like I wouldn't mind watching it again, kind of like retroactively, like later on, just to kind of see like, okay, like what's it like, kind of watching it another time or so on. But I think it is one of those movies where like it kind of blew like a lot of average people's minds. And then I think people that were just already really into movies and like, storytelling and all that kind of stuff are kind of like, oh, it's good, but I've seen stuff like this before. It's not nothing jumping out brand new and so on. But I do kind of wonder, because like that, I mean, that was the same thing about Sin City. Sin City was like one of the biggest things ever when it came out. But then it took so long for Sin City 2 to come out. By the time it came out, that movie just came and went. And it's not that the movie's bad. Sin City 2 is good. I mean, it really fits in nicely. Like you could do a double feature of both those ones right back to back together, but it was just that perfect example of just there's just too much time in between. I think that was just kind of it.
Yeah, well, I guess it could be that too. It's just kind of hard for me. I don't know. I think that Avatar 2 probably has a better chance, especially if sequels are right around the corner from one another. There's not like this big long gap between sequels, 'cause I think he's making a couple of them at the same time. And there was a minute where he was talking Arnold Schwarzenegger playing the villain in a few of them. I'm like, fuck yeah, you just sold a lot more tickets. But then I heard that's not happening. Then I heard it is happening, and I don't know. Whenever the movie comes out, it comes out. But it's one of those things. I think that was just kind of like a doorway for people to see, because I noticed a lot of people, like, they don't like science fiction, but they like Star Wars. And I think Avatar, for a lot of people, was the one other one. Like, all right, well, let's see what this one's about. Yeah, because it's by the guy who did or Aliens. Like, there's, because like, all right, well, I generally don't like science fiction, but fucking Aliens is badass, because, it's fucking Aliens, one of the greatest movies ever made, so.
Yeah, so, no, there is that kind of thing, and so on, but, shit, as long as he just fucking he does a True Lies Blu-ray special edition, that's all I want. I could give a fuck about anything else he does, really. Well, except for I wouldn't mind seeing there Alita, but, like, that's, like, the one, that's what I want more than anything else. Come on, James.
Come on.
Get that special edition. But yeah, back to Spider-Man.
So apparently the version that he was going to make, there's a treatment out there, and Stan Lee loved it. He was going to make it about, apparently it worked somewhat as a blueprint to what the Sam Raimi Spider-Man was going to be. And sounds even a little bit more complicated in some ways. And it does the whole standard setup about, Spider-Man, living the way he does. Like, it sounds almost kind of like the same movie up to a certain point, but instead of it being Green Goblin, it's Electro, but he's not. He doesn't have the name Max Dillon. He's basically this crime lord who he has another name. Worked his way up, but he's essentially Electro, and he's able to manipulate electricity because Electro was always one of those guys. He just shocked people, stole their shit. This was one where it's like, oh, well, I can actually, shock this ATM, make a bunch of money come out. Or I can go through these power lines and change the stock market and all that. And Sandman is my muscle. So and I don't think his name was Flint Marko either. I think they changed Sandman's name as well. And even though they did that, you still know who these guys are supposed to be. And that was interesting. So it kind of does this whole thing of like, they're trying to like, hey, look, there's a Spider-Man guy who was, kind of a small celebrity, but then, he started actually trying to stop crime and all that, and he's bad for business. We might need to try and either get this guy on our side or take him out. And at some point, Electro, since he has power and he has money, goes to Bugle and tries to get this whole hit put on Spider-Man, this whole media thing, by making it look like he did this big crime. So you have police and SWAT chasing after Spider-Man in a few scenes, like a few like narrow escape kind of scenes, and then him going up against Electro and Sandman at the same time at the end, and then ultimately winning and saving the day. At some point, he, apparently there's a scene where he and Mary J, I don't know if they fuck or if they just make out, but they pretty much are on a spider web on one of the, I think on the Brooklyn Bridge making out.
Just like hanging out, like, what's up? What's up, Mary? They should just kind of like fuse.
Where does this webbing come from? Don't worry about it.
They should just fuse Flash with Peter and just have like that kind of character where it's just like he's still got all like the smarts of Peter, but he's got the fucking attitude of Flash.
I haven't read it, but apparently, did you hear what they did? And I guess it's probably going back to 2012 or 13 or something. I have the first book, but I have yet to read it. I got it used a little bit ago. Did you hear what they did with Venom a few years back?
No, I don't know. I'm not too sure, at least.
Flash went to war, lost his legs, and then entered in a military program where they're like, look, we think we found a way to weaponize the symbiote and control it. We want to make you the new Venom. And he basically looks kind of like a SWAT militarized version of Venom.
Was that the series that was just a straight up Venom series that was out?
There's a couple, but this is one that probably came out around 2012, 2013, I think. And I have the first volume. It's by Rick Remender. It's one of the reasons I went out and got it, because I really like that writer. And this is me finding out after he did some other stuff. And it's either Rick Remender or Matt Fraction. I don't remember which one it was, but I went out and bought it. I'm going to read it pretty soon, but
that sounds pretty sweet, though.
Yeah, so, I mean, it is one of those things like, you know, you have a character in comics. I mean, there's that whole phrase of, it kind of go multiple ways, but you live long enough to see yourself, if you either die a hero or live long enough to see, die the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Well, it also goes the other way. If you're around long enough and you bully the good guy long enough, you're like, you know what? We got nothing for this guy to do. Wait, what if we made him a good guy?
Yeah, exactly. Let's try that out instead. Well, that just sounds cool in itself. But I just would love to see just Peter just kind of have like sort of the Flash attitude. I mean, I guess that'd be like Peter of the Dark costume, but more or less like
minus the emo dancing.
Yeah, minus the emo-ness, but more just give him more like the yo, what's up? What's up, Liz? What's up, Mary? What's up, fucking Gwen? Yeah, I hit all three of you in one night. It's because I fucking can't. Fucking Spider-Man. What are you gonna do about it, huh?
Just elbows to the face on everybody at once.
Shit, once you got fucking Spider-Man, what, you gonna date a normal guy? Hell no you aren't. You got fucking Spider-Man. Peter Parker, man.
He just goes up to Mary. Now dig on this. Or that part, like, that was such a fucking tonal shift where he's just like, in Spider-Man 3, he says, dig on this. He's like, okay, he has the hemo cut, but suddenly he's all into jazz, like snapping his fingers, like, yeah, man, whoa, yeah. And then all of a sudden, just like fucking elbows MJ in the fucking face, and just like, oh, I'm sorry, I don't know why I did that. Out the door.
Yeah, well, that's the part, especially the first time you see that movie. That part is like literally shocking, because that is like, you literally did not see that coming.
Well, it's also like, just like, because you think
you're like,
dark
so what the serious fuck is going on?
Well, it's like also when he gets the dark suit on for the first time, you're like, okay, it's all right. He has the weird emo cut. It's the time, I guess, but he goes up against like Flint Marko, and like, oh, he tried to kill him. He's like, I can't do this again. Gets it off. Like, all right, okay. And then later he comes back, like, you know what? Get the fuck out of Harry. He does that. Like, all right, he has the goofy little haircut, but still, he did what he's gonna do. He just possibly killed his best friend. Now what's he doing? He just, doing the Saturday Night Hustle down through, or Saturday Night Fever dance through the fucking street. Like, yeah. That was a big tone shift right there. And that also felt like, look, we got 20 minutes left. Let's wrap this bitch up. And even though that movie's long, when it comes to the part where he gets out the OG Spider-Man suit, I'm like, oh yeah, I guess we're getting to the end. I mean, I guess it's long enough to be that, but I guess tonally it didn't feel like that.
Yeah, it's kind of weird how that movie is. That movie's kind of long, but just doesn't come across that way. But yeah, weird stuff. But always still fun to watch no matter what. I don't care what people say. It's like not the greatest Spider-Man movie, but it's still interesting. It still takes me back.
When I first saw Spider-Man 3, I really loved it, and just like, people don't understand, that was kind of weird, and that was kind of weird, but overall, it's still a good movie. And looking back, I'm like, well, yeah, there's some weird choices in that thing, but it's not entirely Sam Raimi's fault. And all that being said, it's not like not everything in that movie sucks. I still like the movie, but I know it's flawed. I know it's a very flawed movie, and if someone said they didn't like it, I understand why, but I still like it.
That's how I feel too. It's like I still enjoy it. Like I don't give a fuck. You know, it's fun, but it's goofy. That's almost the best way to call it. It's goofy. You know what I mean? There's something kind of off about it, but whatever. You know, as always, there's all kinds of good Spider-Man stuff out there, and then you got Spider-Man scripts like this one right here that's just, you know, interesting, but you can still have fun with it. I think that's the key thing at the end of the day. It's no
more like
what.
Interesting as a history lesson and kind of like seeing where the other ones go from here.
Exactly, you know what I mean? So why not? But yeah, as always, more fun kind of script stuff like that we'll go through in the future. And then till then, go to oldmanorange.com for more podcasts, comic books like Pizza Boys. That's Pizza Boys with a Z. You know, coming up with all kinds of new Pizza Boys stuff, and then yeah, all the other fun stuff there at Old Man Orange. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Dunigan.
We'll see you some other time.
Later, folks.
Thanks again for listening to the Old Man Orange podcast. Sure, check out oldmanorange.com for more podcasts, cartoons, music, animation, and a whole lot more. We also have the Old Man Orange blog going with all kinds of fun stuff. If you easily want to support the show, use one of our Amazon links either on the website or in the description of the podcast below. Rate, review, and subscribe to the show either on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Newgrounds, or anywhere else that you seem to get this podcast from. Grab the sitcom-styled comic book Pizza Boys on either Comic Central, Comixology, or Amazon. Want more podcasts? Check out the Indie Comics Club over at Comic Central. I also got a workout website called Thor's Hidden Gym, filled with fitness tips and tricks, videos, and a whole lot more fun stuff in the calisthenics world. Talk to us on Twitter at Spencer S. Holmes and Dunigan Ryan. Like our Facebook pages of Old Man Orange Productions and Pizza Boys Comic. Thanks again, we're out of here.